Jenny, just can I observe something?
Yeah.
We're in a public forum,
Yeah.
and there's very few public questions that are actually from the public that are not already from elected representatives that already have a role leading, controlling, governing. My understanding of this group, and maybe something we talk about at the next session, is that we as Labour councillors go back to our groups and we engage our groups on what the forward plan is for this forum, and we gather that feedback and we collect those views, and we as 4 Labour councillors come and talk about that and present some opinions. Can I be reassured that's happening in the Green Group?
Yeah.
Because I'm just a bit confused about that this is a public forum, and I've got many things.
Well,
you sat there, I thought you were subbing in on the committee.
I suppose the point is that
I just want to get some clarity about
they
what's
want
happening.
answers from the officers, is I think that's where I can answer that question.
I'm just interested in the onward efficiency of this forum to make sure that people that don't often get to speak.
Yeah, I think it would be preferable if we could work something out a bit more within the Green Group.
Thank you, Jenny.
But I'm not in control of what they are members of the public. And I think that a lot of the questions maybe this time could have maybe been answered. But all right, Lorraine.
Can I just sort of object to my fellow councillors' critique just now, because this whole thing is about engagement, and we are working through this process, and I think it's quite unhelpful if we're all meant to be trying to work cohesively as a group, that we're doing the Labour does this and the Greens does that. I just think people are entitled to ask a question. I don't think it's a legitimate query. I think even everybody's entitled to raise questions.
I don't want to start bickering. Can I take Councillor Pearce's point? And
yeah, I'm going to be quite brutal here. This is public forum, and elected members have plenty of other avenues with which to pursue these questions. Merely taking advantage of the opportunity of asking a question because it's known that a member of the press is present could be characterised as grandstanding for the public. I, however, will not make such an accusation.
You've never done that.
all right,
But I've always done. I've never done it in a public forum.
I tire of this.
Public.
I think the point has been communicated. However, people who have submitted questions are entitled. Anyone is entitled to ask questions, and that is simply the case. But the point has been made, and we are now going to go to Councillor Bodor, who has 2 questions.
Thank you, Chair. And
Is this a councillor question or a public question?
It's a public question.
Chair, I'm asking.
Why is he sitting at the same table as councillor?
Because I wanted to be very invisible, not behind other people.
All right.
Quite simple.
Martin, come on.
Seriously,
No, I'm not having this, guys. That's it. Let's just get on with this. I want to have this meeting. I'm not.
Thank you, Chair. I tabled questions because I wanted answers in a public forum that are on the record. I don't want private emails or phone calls telling me the information stuck away somewhere. So I tabled questions in public, and that's what I've done. And I've got answers that I'm afraid I don't feel are satisfactory, because in my question 3, I asked for functions and separate budgets to be itemised, and I've just been told there are 2 different departments that have some budgets, and there was no itemisation. So I was disappointed with that. The second question is, I thought, a really helpful and constructive one, asking about comparator arrangements in other authorities that we compare ourselves to, the core cities, which we're constantly told we're one of the 10 core cities. And I was just told they do things differently, that's up to them. Again, I didn't feel that was particularly helpful because, and I don't blame an officer for not having the resources to do some research. I think what it highlights is the absence of a well-researched process here now to help set up a...
This isn't a supplementary question, though, is it?
Well, will that research be done? Because we can learn from it and then set up appropriate processes from what we judge to be the best of our comparators. If someone is suitable.
Yeah, so I guess there's a question to the group.
We've spent several months gathering information.
It's not here.
The first
It's not
seven,
here. I've got two lines.
we've spent several months as a committee talking to other authorities. Your members sit in the group.
But the
And
public will know.
and will no doubt have fed this information that we've been gathering information from the LGA, from other committee model councils and authorities. We've gathered that information and they will no doubt have disseminated it to your group. Because that is what we have done in our group.
Seriously,
No,
are we
no,
going to share now or what?
Yeah, all right,
I
all
can
right.
share
right.
from anywhere in the room.
No, you don't.
Okay, please, I prefer it if you did. Yeah, I'm going to just make the point, well, can you make the point you just made to me, Tim?
Yeah,
And
cool.
everyone listen.
Thank you. This only moved to public a couple of months ago, so I think the information should be made public.
So I think the point, Chair, that I think is beneficial for the committee is that there will be a lot of work that we need to do to review and establish what budgets will be required moving into the new model from 24-25 onwards. As members will be aware, we have task and finish groups that work on an annual basis around budget preparation, and I would expect there to be a detailed piece of work that looks at what budgets are required moving into 24-25 and where they will sit. At the moment, we haven't done that piece of analysis, but I'm rest assured that we will be doing that in good time to support the budget planning process for the next financial year, or 24-25.
Thanks,
Right, that's
helpful.
your answer.